Well, it's obviously Apple time of year. It's the new phones, the new products, and holiday season in general. People are looking for, I don't know, gifts. People are looking to upgrade the devices that they have. Today, I have a device that I didn't look at that was, well, I guess it was overlooked by myself, but it's getting looked at now today because I received a very special version of it. Inside this box is the new Apple Watch, the Series 6, but it's from Aurum Edition, and you may recall that these guys in the past, they've sent me some very luxurious versions of iPhones. It is an iPhone 11 Pro, you know, ornate and gold-plated and featuring precious stones. Well, that's what's in this box, so I thought now is the time for me to check out the Apple Watch Series 6 and also prepare for the iPhone 12, because maybe I slipped the SIM card in the iPhone 12 and then I gotta figure out what watch to wear. And I think most people agree, if you're on the iPhone at least, then it's gonna be an Apple Watch. So anyway, let's go ahead and first off appreciate the packaging here with the rosewood on the top. Once you get to a certain price point with luxurious gadgets, you're talking about wood. All right, there's no cardboard in sight. You got, well, I don't know, this might be brass, this engraving over here, and you lift it up. And there's gotta be a pillow involved. Have you ever purchased a luxury watch before? I haven't either, to be honest with you. That said, it would probably be on a pillow quite like this. So I'm gonna remove that. Oh my goodness, look at the clasp. Gold-plated clasp going on. All right, just let me put that down for a second and lift up this portion of the package. You see the smooth, it's the smooth felt. Is it felt? Alcantara? I don't know what it is. It's soft, all right? It's soft. And then it's pretty much that. It's your little charge puck thing to go with it. In the old days, there used to be many versions of the Apple Watch charging devices that were out there. Now it's been simplified. It is this portable little puck, and that's that, unless you opt for Apple's latest, their brand new charger, which is the dual wireless charger, in which case then it has a spot for the Apple Watch as well as the iPhone 12 or other Qi compatible wireless charging phone. All right, so this is your little charger right here. I'm gonna pull the pillow out from in here. Now, it's important to note that this is a crazy premium watch. That right there, I didn't take this part off yet. That right there is a real sapphire. That's a real sapphire. I don't know what the current cost of sapphires are, but they sound expensive. And they probably are. I mean, and I'm not talking about a sapphire glass front. I'm talking about a sapphire gemstone right there on the digital crown. Okay. So this is it. Look at that. That's a statement right there. People are going to know. Well, people are going to notice. That's not an everyday Apple Watch. And then we remove the cover, and that's what it looks like. Whoa. So you check out the engraving here. You know, when I was a youngster, I had a pocket knife, a brass pocket knife with very similar engraving around it. This is tough work because everything is so small. I mean, even on the button, it's got the engraving going on. And we are booting up right now. The back of the device, we can see this is based on the 44 millimeter aluminum and ceramic case. Now, they can base it off of the stainless version, and they come in at different prices. I'll give you a price right now, ladies and gentlemen, and it's gonna scare you. This is the Sapphire Crown Series 6 Gold, 40 millimeter or 44, and in the Sport GPS version, which is the one that I have here, we're looking at $2,800. The watch case is plated with yellow 24 karat gold, sapphire stone installed on the watch crown, deep anthracite black strap. Mine actually got an upgrade. I guess this is the blue version. Top quality embossed crocodile leather. The watch is hand engraved, which makes the fashionable design absolutely unique. Now, as mentioned, you can get it based on the stainless steel version, but that's going to cost you a little bit more since the initial cost is a little bit more. So that goes up to $3,200. This is a premium. This is a luxury piece. They have a few different crazy versions on there as expected. Anyway, as a watch, as a smartwatch, I actually haven't used the Apple Watch series in a pretty long time. I have bounced around. I like to use a variety of products, and I spend time on Android. So as mentioned here and as featured here, I've been trying out a lot of different smartwatch devices, the latest being this one, which is the new Fitbit Sense, which has a tremendous number of sensors in it. It actually has more sensors than the Apple Watch Series 6. The other device I used previous to that was the previous version of the Polar Vantage, which is a fitness watch, which I like the styling of because I kind of like a rugged watch, and it had a very accurate heart rate monitor, which I liked for the fitness aspects when I would hop on the bike and things like this. This one took it to another level. It got real crazy. It added some of the Apple Watch features, including ECG, blood oxygen, which I'm tracking, and the sleep tracking on the Fitbit Sense is actually beyond what Apple's doing on the Apple Watch by showing you things like deep sleep and REM sleep, and I mean, it even has a temperature sensor to constantly monitor the temperature of your skin and potentially your stress levels. So Fitbit they're fully going towards the health tracking aspect. Now, the other one, which I also featured recently, is the Oppo Watch, which is an Android-compatible version of essentially the Apple Watch. And no, it doesn't have all the same sensors, but it does have a similar styling with an even larger surface area there. So you can go check out this video as well for another comparison. So as you can see, I've tried out a bunch of different things, and it's probably time to hop back on the Apple train a little bit and give a test to their latest generation. However, the Apple Watch Series 6 is not all that different than the Series 5. The blood oxygen sensor that's in here is pretty much the only new thing, alongside supposedly improved battery life and also a faster chip. Now, when it comes to battery life, I would say, look how luxury I am right now, man. You see this guy roll up? I show up to baseball practice with this.
That's a hell of a look.
For the Jays with the blue as well? Oh no, I gotta show up to the post-game interview with this on. And here's the thing, a watch has been a style piece for a really long time. More so than a phone. When they started to upgrade these phones and do the luxury models there, it was maybe a little bit more absurd, but a watch has been kind of a personalized or a personal item in which you would pick one up to sort of represent your style because you wear it on the outside of your body. That's one of the drawbacks with these smartwatches. I mean, certainly over here, like, what is the identity of this? This has zero personality at all. It's just it's just a little puck that sits on your wrist. And the Apple Watch, without customization, now I know you can get different colors and things like this. It's a pretty basic design, which is good too, because then you don't get bored of it. But what if you want to, I don't know, you want to have a night out? Why don't you just want to be flashy for a second? And then that's where this comes in. Now, granted, this is like $3,000. I would suggest the cheaper way of doing this is just pick up some extra wrist straps and you're good to go. And now you have a totally different look. But this with the engraving and whatnot, it really has a luxury look to it, but on a simple form, which is, of course, the Apple Watch. All right, now let me check out the heart rate. The heart rate on top of this hairy wrist right here. Let's see what we get. Let's see how fast the reading comes in. Apple Watch has been one of the most accurate smartwatches. It's been tracked online comparative to your chest straps, which are like the industry norm from guys like these guys, Polar, who make them. I'd say sitting here right now, talking, couple coffees deep, this is probably where I'm at. One of the things is the update frequency, like how often it shows me that increase or decrease. But this is going to be sufficient for a lot of people. And when it comes to the smartwatch characteristics with notifications and things outside of health, that's really where the Apple Watch shines as well, because the integration with the phone is so far beyond whatever somebody like Fitbit or Polar can do. All right, let's go ahead and just unbox this Polar real quick because I haven't checked out their new version, the Vantage V2. They've upgraded the heart rate tracking in here as well. Get under the skin of who you are. When you understand your body better, you plan better, train smarter, and recover fully. Because the more you know, the better you can become. Well, I know that gets Kirk fired up. Myself, I'm still going to need to see a little bit more, but Kirk's already getting going on that. That's a very easy top removal. I'm just going to put that out there. I've unboxed a few things in the past. All right, so inside the package, this looks like a tremendous chunk of paperwork right here. Getting started, and I'll never read that, but it's there. Ooh, that's cool. Look, they did like an army green on the wristband. The wristband looks identical to my previous model. This is metallic. It's cold to the touch. And look how rugged. Look at the styling. You see? I wish there was like a more rugged Apple Watch or Fitbit product as well, because I've actually been enjoying some of the sleep tracking going on with the Fitbit. It's a little bit more comprehensive. But anyways, yeah, I wish that there was some more robust styling to go with it. This has a strap, by the way, that locks in. It doesn't move around. This little piece will clip it in at a second point. So this is a very secure wristband. I used the previous version of the Vantage, so I'm familiar with it. It looks like this wristband is the same. It just happens to be in this like army green. The rear of the device, look at this sensor right here. This is gonna bite through all the hairs on my wrist. It's a substantial, many contact points, many LEDs. I mean, comparatively, let's see. You see the puny little Fitbit is just flashing right now. Just a couple of LEDs in green. And comparatively, some of these fitness products, because they have a bigger base to start with, you can get some tremendous tracking on there, and it kind of locks on. Like, I find that the discrepancy or bizarre, unexplained jumps in heart rate, this one is just rock solid for me, at least the previous model. All right, also inside the package here, we are going to have, this is the worst part, actually, about this watch series, is the charge puck. All right, this is the charge puck right here. And it's a USB connector. That's pretty self-explanatory. But this piece drives me crazy. It's a weak magnet. And I would say it is probably the thing that I dislike the most about this series. And trust me, I used the Vantage V1 for a long period. You line up this little, oh, wait a sec. It's a better, I think did they strengthen the magnets? Nah. Maybe a little bit. They may have improved it a little bit. I think they improved it. This is my technique. So this thing is plugged in, and then I come like this. Oh, they improved it. Okay, maybe I'm less mad. They improved it. I still feel a more satisfying click on the Fitbit. And then, of course, if we're talking about the Apple Watch Series 6, it's got... I just broke this watch. I mean, I don't think I actually did. But.
Okay.
Yes, on the Apple Watch side, pretty self-explanatory. Little puck and super easy to hit the right spot. So Apple has totally figured that one out. You can see with this one, since the watch doesn't lay flat, you kind of got to come from the side. So still not my favorite, but I don't have the Fitbit charger right now to compare either. It works, and at least they improved the magnet a little bit on this one. So this is a circular display. It is nowhere near as bright or vibrant as the Fitbit or the Apple Watch or the Oppo Watch for that matter. Now this is just a setup screen, but it almost has like an e-ink brightness to it. The consequence of this though is tremendous battery life. Sometimes, depending on how often I was using the features, heart rate tracking, things like that, I was looking at many days of battery life on this particular device. And I know it's a huge argument in the smartwatch space because like guys like Kirk, I don't get it, Lou. I charge my watch every night. But some of them have cool sleep tracking. When do you track the sleep? Because these two, they take about an hour and a half to charge up. When do you do that? Maybe at your desk and you can still track sleep, but I don't even sit at the same spot for that long. So I hate the fact it's probably the only drawback with the Apple Watch, which of course dominates the smartwatch category, is the fact that this is a charge every night device. And I don't know what Apple said officially, but Everything you will find online, anyone who's used these extensively, they're charging it every single night. So there goes your sleep tracking for the most part. I understand there are ways around it. This one is right in between the two, what they were able to do with the new Fitbit Sense. What I noticed with this one, I could get up to 5 days of battery life on this, using it in a conservation type of way, but definitely at least 2 total days. And then with the hour-and-a-half charge time, I will usually just pile it up. Maybe when I'm in the shower or something, just pop it on for a little bit and top it up, and that proved to be okay. So the smarter the watch, definitely the nicer the display, the less the battery life. So you have to factor that in for yourself. All right, so what's the story? How does this all break down? So Apple Watch Series 6, if you're on an iPhone, I think it's a pretty easy and obvious choice. As a smartwatch, it has the most features hands down. Particularly, I mean, you can configure it with LTE in there. You can use it without a smartphone attached to it. The notification system, the microphone, it will warn you of loud environments. It's just a very comprehensive wrist computer. And so I think that's why it's as popular as it is. However, on the fitness side, and certainly on the Android side, you have people looking at other devices for other reasons. I think the one major reason to look elsewhere if you're on iOS is just battery life. If you're cool with charging every night, then the Apple Watch is a pretty straightforward choice. You can start to look elsewhere if that's not the case. And then you can also start to look elsewhere if styling is not what you want on the Apple Watch, because this is not a standard Apple Watch, but this type of styling will cost you. If you want to go more in the sporty direction, you might find yourself looking at something like this, which is pretty squarely focused on fitness and not much else. All right, let's test out some of the sensors here. Oh, also Assistant. Google Assistant is coming to the Fitbit Sense. It also has Amazon Alexa to speak to it, so it does have a microphone. You're using Siri, obviously, if you're on the Apple Watch. Blood O2. All right, here's the new sensor in the Series 6, the Blood O2. Make sure your wrist is not too low. Make sure it's not too low on your wrist, okay. It should be snug, it is, but comfortable, all right. Facing up, don't move. 98, all right, I'll take it. So you can do this on demand, and it can also track it over time, just like the Fitbit Sense can do. I like the fact that you can do it on demand on the Apple Watch. That's actually a thing you can't do on the Fitbit Sense. It will just tell you your SpO2 from the previous evening and the range, whereas I can just do an on-the-spot check right here, like as if you went to the emergency room at the hospital and you stuck your finger into the little sensor and you just needed feedback quickly. Same thing goes for the ECG functionality as well. All right, check it out. That's interesting. So you have to actually install the app. It's not on there by default. Gives a little description of how it's going to interact with your heart. Now, this is not a new feature, by the way, but this does look to be maybe a little more comprehensive than the version I was using on the Fitbit Sense. It cannot detect a heart attack. It cannot detect blood clots or stroke. It cannot detect other heart-related conditions. It's important to note as well, if you're younger, these things are not as accurate or as useful. Apparently, it's not recommended for people under the age of 22 or something like that to get accurate feedback for whatever reason. So just keep that in mind. If you're not feeling well, you should talk to your doctor. Okay, cool. Are we ready? Cool. ECG app. Okay. Ooh, check that. Hold your finger. Oh no, my digital crown has a sapphire on it. This is not going to work. The ECG requires touching of the crown. I have a sapphire on my crown right now. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you don't do the sapphire crown version of the customization if you want a very luxurious Apple Watch, because you're going to kill one of the key features unless you absolutely could care less about doing an ECG or using the ECG feature, in which case it's a non-issue. However, since I do want to do an on-air ECG, which would be a first for me what I'm gonna do is boot the Fitbit Sense back up because it also has that feature, and it's implemented a little bit differently where you touch the two sides or two corners of the device. Oh, by the way, this, if you're interested, this one also has a touch sensitive button over here. This is with haptic, and that's how you turn the watch on. ECG, put your index finger and thumb on the corner metal, and then it counts down from 30. And what's interesting is Apple's implementation is 1 point of contact, whereas the Fitbit Sense asks for 2 points of contact. Normal sinus rhythm, your heart's rhythm appears normal. It still says if you're not feeling well, go talk to somebody, learn more. This would also tell me if there was any indication of an abnormal finding, which is the same thing that the Apple Watch would do. I guess you would only ever boot up the ECG app if you have a pre-existing heart condition that you would want to check up on that, or if you're experiencing some sort of issue and want to take a reading. But anyway, look, there you have it. Smartwatches. Yeah, it's a cool expanding marketplace. Apple Watch is still #1 at the top, and the Series 6 is no different. And this just happens to be a hyper luxurious version of it, which is, believe it or not, the first one that's shown up in studio. So if you have something like $3,000 in your pocket that's burning a hole, you can look towards flexing with the most elaborate version of the current Apple Watch. This one is ballin' so out of control that you have completely covered up core functionality in order to show off your Sapphire. This is such a weird video.
It is.